Have you ever sat in the same room as an elderly loved one and felt something shift? Maybe it was a quiet moment that turned awkward, like when Grandpa said something completely out of line, or when Aunt May repeated the same story for the fourth time in a row, with the same smile, the same laugh, and the same pause like it was the first time. You chuckled politely. Everyone else did too. But deep down, something didn't feel right. Or maybe it was the faint smell you couldn't quite place, a scent you didn't want to mention, maybe the way they held onto old junk like it was gold, or how they suddenly stopped caring about how they looked, how they snapped at someone they love, or worse, when they started talking about death like it was right around the corner and no one knew how to respond. You told yourself, it's just part of getting old. You shrugged it off. They probably did too. But let me ask you this. What if those little things were actually big things in disguise? What if those uncomfortable moments were silent red flags? What if ignoring them meant losing the chance to offer comfort, dignity, even safety? The truth is, aging isn't always graceful. Sometimes it's messy, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable for them and for you. And the hardest part? No one really wants to talk about it. Not at the dinner table, not during holiday visits, and definitely not in public. But you care. That's why you're here, isn't it? Because deep down you want to understand, you want to help without overstepping, you want your aging parent, your grandparent, your loved one to feel seen, heard, valued, even in the parts of aging that no one wants to acknowledge. So today, we're going to have that honest conversation. We're diving into 10 ugly habits in old age that make people uncomfortable, but that no one talks about. And I promise you, some of these will surprise you. Some might hit close to home. And by the end of this video, you'll walk away with a new understanding of what these habits really mean and what you can actually do to help. So before we begin, let me ask you, comment "I'm here" if you're ready to look beyond the surface and truly care for your loved ones in their later years. And if this matters to you, really matters, don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Words, where we talk about the things no one else will, with compassion, honesty, and heart. Let's begin. Let's start with something that might seem small, but says a lot more than you think. Habit 1. Withdrawing from conversations. Uncle Joe used to be the loudest one at the table. Football games, family dinners, holiday get-togethers. He was always telling stories, cracking jokes, keeping the room alive. Then one year, he just stopped. He'd sit quietly in the corner, smile when spoken to, nod when prompted. But his voice, it faded. You might assume he's just tired, or that he's getting cranky with age. But what if it's more than that? See, withdrawing from conversation is often one of the earliest signs of something deeper, like hearing loss, early dementia, or even depression. And when you can't keep up with the flow of a conversation, especially in noisy rooms, it's easier to just stay quiet, to retreat, to stop trying. Families often assume he's just being moody. But no, it's not mood. It's a message. What can you do? Try one-on-one chats in quiet, comfortable spaces. Make eye contact. Speak clearly, but gently. And maybe, just maybe, suggest a hearing check. You'd be surprised how many seniors struggle silently with hearing loss, because no one ever brings it up. But here's the thing. Silence isn't the only signal. Sometimes it's what they do say that stirs the room. Habit 2. Speaking inappropriately or using offensive language. Imagine this. You're in a grocery store. Your sweet, church-going grandmother suddenly blurts out something racist or wildly inappropriate. The whole aisle freezes. You're mortified. You apologize. She just stands there like nothing happened. This happens more than you think. It's often the result of age-related changes in the brain, especially in areas that control impulse and social behavior. Conditions like frontotemporal dementia can strip away the filters we spent a lifetime developing. People assume she's just bitter, or worse, she's always been like that deep down. But that's not always true. She might not even realize what she said. So, what can you do? Redirect gently. Don't scold. Don't shame. Watch for patterns. And if the behavior worsens or seems out of character, talk to a geriatrician or neurologist. And now, let's talk about something even more awkward, but just as important. Habit 3. Poor hygiene and body odor. Mary was always stylish, hair done, clothes pressed, perfume just right. But lately, something changed. Her hair was greasy, her clothes wrinkled, and the smell was unmistakable. No one wanted to say it out loud. Poor hygiene in seniors is rarely about laziness. It's often a sign of something deeper: depression, mobility challenges, fear of falling in the shower, even memory issues. Many loved ones assume she's just letting herself go. But that's far from the truth. So how do you approach this? Start small. Offer to help with laundry or set up a light bath routine. Use soft language. Let's freshen up together before dinner, instead of, you need to bathe. And don't underestimate the power of bath aids, non-slip mats, shower chairs, or even a homemade a few times a week. Because dignity starts with feeling clean, but from the body, let's move to the home. Habit 4. Hoarding or clutter accumulation. Walk into Dad's house, and it's overwhelming. Boxes stacked to the ceiling, old newspapers, empty jars, things he hasn't touched in years, but swears are important. You want to clear it all out. He refuses. Hoarding isn't just stubbornness, it's often a trauma response, or a way to exert control when everything else feels uncertain. In some cases, it's linked to early dementia, anxiety, or a lifetime of scarcity. It's tempting to throw it all away when they're not looking, but doing that can shatter trust. The better way? Involve them in the process. One drawer at a time. One memory at a time. Ask, can we go through this box together? Instead of, this is trash. And remember, it's not about the stuff. It's about safety and peace of mind. From clutter on the floor to comfort in the kitchen, let's talk food. Habit 5. Obsession with food or unusual eating patterns. She only eats bread, white bread, every meal, nothing else. It sounds odd, but it's more common than you'd think. As we age, taste buds fade, smells become dull, and food, once a joy, becomes effort. Comfort, foods like bread, rice, or sweets feel safe, easy, familiar. Families often say, she's just being picky. But it might be more than that. It could be a sign of depression, early-stage Alzheimer's, or a decline in digestive health. What can help? Don't force. Instead, offer small, colorful meals, add smoothies, try fortified shakes. Sometimes it's not about appetite, it's about energy. But as physical needs shift, so do emotional ones. Let's talk about something harder to spot and harder to live with. Habit 6. Paranoia or extreme suspicion. He keeps accusing the caregiver of stealing. You double-check, nothing's missing, and yet, every day a new accusation. This is often a symptom of cognitive decline. Dementia, Alzheimer's, or even side effects of certain medications can distort perception. Isolation and fear also play a role. When you feel confused or unsafe, suspicion grows. Loved ones say, he's just being difficult, but he's not. He's scared. So what helps? Routine, familiar faces, consistent lighting, fewer surprises. And when it feels persistent or severe, talk to a neurologist. Don't dismiss it, because when paranoia grows unchecked, it can turn into something more. Habit 7. Sudden aggression or mood swings. One moment, she's calm. The next, she's yelling, slamming doors, or accusing you of betrayal. Out of nowhere, she lashes out because someone touched her purse. These mood swings are not just about frustration. They can be tied to pain, undiagnosed infections, brain changes, or medication imbalances. People say, she's just mean now. But she's likely overwhelmed or hurting. Track the triggers. Keep a journal. Notice if it happens at certain times or after certain medications. And above all, don't take it personally. Approach with compassion, even when it's hard, because beneath the anger is someone afraid of losing control. And when aggression subsides, another habit might rise in its place. Habit 8. excessive complaining, or pessimism. Every phone call feels like a dark cloud. I'm in pain. No one visits. The world is falling apart. And then the list of who forgot to call, who never checks in, who's doing what wrong. It's exhausting. But here's the truth. Chronic complaining is often a cry for attention, connection, and help. It's easy to assume they're just negative, but often it's loneliness, it's physical pain, it's grief. Try this. Don't correct them. Just listen. Then gently shift the topic. Bring up a memory, a favorite song, a funny story. Sometimes joy is hiding just behind the pain. But now, let's talk about something that stirs discomfort and gets pushed under the rug. Habit 9. Flatulence or noisy. Bodily functions in public. You're at dinner. The room goes quiet. It happens. Again and again. Everyone laughs it off, but your loved one looks embarrassed. Changes in digestion, muscle tone, and medication side effects can all lead to uncontrollable bodily functions. Seniors may not even realize it's happening, or they may feel ashamed but helpless. It's common, but it's not just funny. Families either mock it or ignore it. The better path? Talk about it privately, explore gentle diet adjustments, fiber balance, water intake, and speak with a doctor if needed, because comfort and dignity go hand in hand. And now, the final habit, one that can feel like a whisper in the dark. Habit 10. Obsessing over death or morbid topics. Don't forget me. This might be the last time you see me. Maybe I won't wake up tomorrow. Every visit, every call, that same line, it can feel like manipulation, like drama. But more often, it's grief, it's fear, it's unresolved trauma, it's the weight of time pressing in. When someone speaks about death often, it's not always because they're ready. Sometimes they're reaching for meaning, for connection, for closure. So instead of brushing it off, lean in. Ask about their legacy, what matters to them, who they want to be remembered as. Sometimes they just want to feel heard, because when you listen to someone's fears, you help them feel alive again. These habits may seem uncomfortable, even ugly, but behind each one is a human story, a need, a silent plea, and recognizing them, that's the first step in loving better and deeper. Let's continue. Watching your loved ones go through these changes, it can leave you shaken. You try to stay patient, you tell yourself it's part of aging, but inside, there's a quiet ache. Because this isn't the parent who once held your hand through storms. This isn't the grandparent who filled your summers with laughter and love, and now they barely recognize your jokes, or they lash out, or smell different, or speak in ways that leave you embarrassed and confused. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to not know what to say. But here's a truth worth holding on to. What if these ugly habits aren't ugly at all? What if they're the body's way of whispering what the soul can't say out loud? What if the clutter, the complaints, the silence, the stares are really just unspoken messages? Silent cries for help. Signals that a need has gone unmet for far too long. These aren't just behaviors. They're language, the kind that doesn't use words, but tells you everything if you're willing to listen. So here's what you can do. Right now, today, take just 10 minutes, 10 quiet minutes to talk, to listen, to sit beside them, without fixing, without judging, without rushing away. Even if the words are uncomfortable, even if the silence is heavy, just be there. Because you won't always have the answers. You won't always know what to do. But your presence, your calm, your touch, your eyes that say, "I still see you," that alone can be more healing than any pill, more powerful than any doctor visit, more comforting than any therapy session. You may not be able to fix everything, but you can show up. And sometimes, that's the very thing they need the most. So let's take a moment to gently recap what we've walked through together. We talked about 10 overlooked habits in older adults. Habits that on the surface might look like rudeness, stubbornness, or just plain odd behavior. But beneath each one, there's something deeper. Withdrawing from conversations, saying inappropriate things, neglecting hygiene, hoarding, obsessing over food, feeling paranoid, lashing out, complaining all the time, experiencing embarrassing body issues. And yes, talking constantly about death. They're uncomfortable, they're messy, they're real, and every single one of them might be more than it seems. So I want to ask you something. From one caring heart to another, have you noticed any of these habits in someone you love? Was there a moment in today's video that hit home a little harder than you expected? Maybe you've seen the clutter building up. Maybe you've heard that sudden anger in their voice. Maybe you've felt confused, even helpless, wondering what to say or do. Let's talk about it. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me your story, or just say, yeah, I've seen this. Because when we speak up, we help others feel less alone, and maybe we learn something new. And if this video opened your eyes, even just a little, if it gave you clarity or comfort, or maybe just the words you've been needing, then I invite you to subscribe to Elderly Words. This is where we meet in the messy middle, between aging and awareness, between compassion and truth. This is where hard topics are made a little softer, and where silence finds a voice. So thank you, truly, for taking the time to be here, for caring, for listening not just with your ears, but with your heart. Stay kind, stay curious, and most of all, stay connected to those who need you most. Until next time, take care of them, and take care of you.